Why do some insurance company grow steadily, maintain strong underwriting profits, and stay financially secure for decades, while others struggle with high claims, policy lapses, and poor investment returns? The difference lies in tracking the right key performance indicators. These are metrics that reflect risk, customer behavior, operational efficiency, and long-term profitability. In this video, we are going to cover the top 15 insurance industry KPIs that every FP&A analyst, actuary, and insurance leader must master. Before we jump into the KPIs, let us quickly first understand how insurance companies operate, because every insurance KPI maps to the system. Insurance industry runs on these three fundamental engines. The first one is the underwriting and risk selection. This is where the insurance company evaluates applicants, price policies, and decide whether to accept the risk or not. In this stage, KPIs like loss ratio, combined ratio, claims frequency, and severity are very important. The second stage is the customer life cycle, which includes the sale of policies, renewals, and claims. Policies are usually either sold through agents or brokers or to B2C insurance applications and websites. In this stage, KPIs like retention, CAC, lapse rate, and NPS are very important. The third and the final stage in the insurance industry life cycle is the investment of the premium float. Insurance companies invest premiums before the claims are paid. These could be invested in bonds, equities, and other long term assets. KPIs here tracked are the investment yield, solvency ratio, and embedded value. Insurance profitability comes from two places. One is the underwriting performance, and the second is the investment returns. These KPIs connect both the sides. Now that we understand how insurance companies work, let us dive into the key performance indicators that determine profitability. Starting with the most fundamental one, the loss ratio. The loss ratio measures how much of the premium is paid out as claims. It is calculated by taking the claims incurred divided by the premiums earned. If the loss ratio rises, pricing must increase or underwriting rules must be tightened. The next on the list is the expense ratio. The expense ratio shows how operating expenses are as a percentage of the premiums. Expense ratio is calculated by taking the operating expenses and dividing it by the premiums earned. For FP&A, high expense ratios indicate inefficient operations or costly distribution channels. Next up is the insurance industry KPI number 3, which is called the combined ratio. This metric brings together two important pieces, the loss ratio and the expense ratio, to show an overall underwriting performance. The formula is simple. Combined ratio is equal to the loss ratio plus the expense ratio. And here is how you can interpret it. A combined ratio under 100% means that we are generating an underwriting profit. At 100% or above, that means that the company is operating at an underwriting loss. For FP&A, this is important because the combined ratio is one of the core profitability KPIs which reflects the performance of the company's underwriting operations without factoring in the investment income. It gives us a clean, direct look at how the insurance business is performing on its own. Insurance industry KPI number 4 is the premium growth. It tells us whether our gross return premium or net return premium are growing. This metric measures how quickly our premiums are increasing over time, and it is one of the clearest signals of business momentum. For FP&A, premium growth helps us understand whether we are gaining market share or how strong our new business pipeline really is. In short, it tells us how fast and how well the insurance company is expanding. That brings us to our insurance industry KPI number 5, which is the retention rate, also sometimes known as the policy renewal rate. This metric tracks how many policies are renewed at the end of their term. The formula is straightforward. Retention percentage equals renewed policies divided by the policies eligible for renewal. For FP&A, renewals are typically far more profitable than acquiring new business. So higher retention directly boosts customer lifetime value and the overall profitability. On a quick side note, if you are serious about growing your career in FP&A, then do check out our certified global FP&A professional program. CGFPA is a 6-month accredited certification in FP&A designed to help you become real business partners. If that sounds something you would be interested in, links are in the description. Also, there are a bunch of free resources that you can download on FP&A, including books and free courses. You will find all the links in the description. Next on our list is the insurance industry KPI number 6, which is called as the claims frequency. Claims frequency measures how often claims are made within our insurance portfolio. Now, frequency is calculated by taking the number of claims received divided by the total number of policies. For FP&A, this is important because it gives us an early signal of pricing adequacy and the overall risk quality of our book. If frequency starts to rise, it can indicate a shift in the customer behavior, risk mix, or market conditions that we need to respond to quickly. The next one is the insurance industry KPI number 7, called as the claims severity. This metric tells us the average cost of each insurance claim. It is calculated by taking the total claim cost, dividing it by the total number of claims. For FP&A, even if the claim frequency stays stable, a rising severity can quickly erode profitability. It is a key indicator of inflation, repair cost trends, and the overall claim complexity. This brings us to the insurance industry KPI number 8, which is the solvency ratio. Now, the solvency ratio measures the insurance company's ability to meet long term obligations. Essentially, it tells how financially strong the insurance company is. It is equal to the available capital divided by the required capital. For FP&A, this isn't just a performance metric, it is a regulatory requirement. A low solvency ratio can trigger the need for additional capital or even a redesign of the portfolio to reduce risk. Next on the list is the insurance industry KPI number 9, known as the embedded value growth. This is a metric that's especially important in the life insurance business. The embedded value represents the present value of the future profits plus the adjusted net worth of the business. For FP&A, this is important because the embedded value growth shows the long term profitability of the portfolio, not just what we earned this year, but the value that we are building for the future. Insurance industry KPI number 10 is the new business margin, also known as the NBM. The new business margin measures the profitability of the newly sold policies. New business margin is calculated by taking the new business profit, dividing it by the present value of the new business premium. For FP&A, the new business margin helps evaluate whether the new products, segments, or distribution channels are truly worth scaling and which ones may need an adjustment. KPI number 11 is the combined operating ratio, also known as the COR, a metric commonly used in European countries. It is similar to the combined ratio, but it goes a step further by incorporating additional operating metrics for a more complete view of the performance. For FP&A, the COR provides a deeper assessment of the sustainability of our underwriting results, helping us understand whether the business can consistently operate as a profit. Next is the KPI number 12, which is called as the CAC, or the customer acquisition cost. The CAC tracks how much it costs to acquire a single policy holder, whether through agents, brokers, digital marketing, or partnerships. CAC equals the total acquisition cost divided by the total number of new policies sold. For FP&A, when the CAC rises, the profitability drops and it takes longer for a customer's lifetime value to break even. It is one of the most important indicators of insurance companies' growth efficiency. Next is the insurance industry KPI number 13, known as the policy lapse or the surrender rate. The policy lapse metric shows how many policies are discontinued before reaching maturity. Lapse rate equals the lapse policies divided by the total active policies. For FP&A, a high lapse rate can signal issues like poor product market fit or low customer satisfaction, which can impact long term profitability and retention strategies. Next comes the investment yield. This measures the returns earned on the premiums that we have invested. Investment yield is equal to the investment income divided by the investment assets. For FP&A, even a small change in the investment yield can have big impact on the total profitability because insurance companies typically manage massive pools of assets. It is a key driver of the overall financial performance of the insurance company. And finally, we talk about the final KPI number 15, which is the NPS or the Net Promoter Score. This metric shows how likely customers are to recommend our insurance product to others. NPS equals the percentage of promoters minus the percentage of detractors. For FP&A, NPA is one of the strongest predictors of policy renewals, upsell potential, and long-term revenue growth. High scores signal satisfied customers and a healthier and more sustainable insurance business. So these insurance KPIs helps FP&A leaders understand underwriting quality, cost efficiency, customer loyalty, and the long-term financial strength of the insurance company. FP&A combines these numbers to answer big questions like: Are we pricing risk correctly? Are claims trending in a dangerous direction? Is our insurance portfolio profitable? Can we sustain long term insurance claim payouts? Are the customers going to stay with us? Let us do a quick recap of all the KPIs that we have covered so far. We started with understanding the underwriting health of the company by looking at KPIs like the loss ratio, claims severity, claims frequency, and the combined ratio. Next, we talked about the customer health, the retention rate, policy lapse rate, NPS, and the customer acquisition cost. We also talked about the financial strength, the solvency ratio, embedded value growth, and the investment yield. Finally, we looked at the growth and the competitive metrics, including the premium growth, new business margin, and the combined operating ratio. By tracking these KPIs consistently, you can ensure that your insurance company remains stable, profitable, and ready for the future. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the top 15 insurance industry KPIs, do like this video and subscribe to our channel for more such FP&A content. Also, let me know in the comments below which other industry KPIs you want me to cover in the next video. Also, don't forget to check out a bunch of free resources, including FP&A books, courses, and more. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.